You are up next.
We are literally live right now. We are going into this. It is lightning round. And we are doing
You are on the clock.
an FFPC Players Championship. Now, we actually have a decision because Eckler went 101. So we have our choice of either Christian McCaffrey or Justin Jefferson.
I do. I like. Oh my God, Eckler won. I don't know, man. I'm down.
I would take McCaffrey over Jefferson.
You would? Let's do it.
I would.
Let's take him. Let's do it. Now we can, because now we can. That kind of settles the whole debate. Now we can just jam on wide receivers, right? Like now we're feeling good, right?
The jam on. Absolutely.
Let's get our jam on. I hope you like jamming too.
We were introless, of course. Welcome into Lightning Round. Kevin Tompkins, Andrew Cooper here, jumping into an FFPC FootballGuys Players Championship. Little high stakes action. Last year, if you were with us, it was definitely a fun ride. We had a lot of fun in this draft. Maybe not so much in the KFFSC, but it's the high stakes world. We're living in it. Gotta love it.
Yeah, that one got a little spicy. Was that the one with you, me, and Gary, where it was like
that tensions? Was the third round reversal and the three running backs to start.
Tensions were flaring towards the end of that one there.
That tensions were flaring, not gonna lie, but you know what? Christian McCaffrey opens. We have some optionality here.
Yeah,
to do
I like that. I'm feeling good about it. I think I can log in here. I love the name Sauce McReasonable. That's a nice mashup of the squads.
Absolutely. Yeah. We were try lightning last year because it was us two and Gary. But yeah, so you can see some Austin Eckler 101 is a bit spicy. Can't really get on board with that. I mean, I understand, I guess, the base level thought of if you really believe in the Chargers offense, if you really believe Austin Eckler is going to be like a 1,000 guy, I mean, sure, but what are the odds of that happening in an offense of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams? Probably is Isaiah Spiller mixing his way in with Eckler on the ground game. I just don't see it.
I want to say Impemba has either done that or he's at least taken him over Jonathan Taylor. I can see Eckler over Taylor in full PPR if you really lean into that mindset, but I can't take Eckler over CMC. It's like you have those barriers, right? Where it's like you can't take certain guys over other guys. Like that's where I'm at. I can't take Eckler over CMC because CMC has not only the highest point per game season that we've seen over the last 5 years, but he has the second highest too. And after that, it's the next two are Todd Gurley. Like he's basically two of the top five, and the other three guys in the top five aren't even guys that can do it again. I mean, I think number 5 might be Dalvin Cook in a year he got hurt, but was playing really well. But it's just I just can't go Eckler over McCaffrey. I can't do it.
Yeah, and the best way to put it is like McCaffrey's median is everybody else's ceiling. Like that is how separated from the field and on the field Chris McCaffrey is in fantasy. Like it's no contest. Like Jonathan Taylor was one of the worst had one of the worst RB1 seasons since I believe Devonta Freeman overall RB1 seasons. I mean, it's just you're banking on touchdowns. You're banking on just the overall efficiency of that offense going up to where Indy is going to be living in the red zone. I mean, Jonathan Taylor led the league in green zone touches inside the 5-yard line, inside the 10-yard line as well. So, I mean, that's what you're hoping. If you're hoping Jonathan Taylor is going to be in the end zone, I mean, he can get that 21, 22 fantasy points per game. But
yeah,
the path is just so much easier for a healthy Chris McCaffrey.
Yeah, it truly is, man. It's just, I think people take for granted the idea of 100 targets for a running back, but before McCaffrey, it had only happened like twice, right? It was like LaDainian Tomlinson and, Larry Centers.
Yeah, I was going to say Larry Centers.
Like just some ridiculous situation. So it's like, but now it's like in our minds, it's so possible because like the Kamaras and the Ecklers, but like Jonathan Taylor had 40 on a full season last year. McCaffrey had 37 in the first 6 games. He got hurt before, catching a ball. So it's like, I gotta side with him in this format, at least. If it's half PPR, it's just so much easier to treat it that way. right? Taylor in half PPR or standard, McCaffrey in full PPR. But I'm not taking Eckler ahead of either of those guys.
Right. No, I'm not either. And just to kind of refresh this is full PPR. This is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight end, and 2 flexes as well. So we have a little bit of wiggle room as far as how we want to construct our roster with the 2 flexes and 3 wide receivers. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It is a little got all the wide receivers out of the way in the middle of the draft and Travis Kelce. This is tight end premium as well too. So tight ends will come up on the board a little earlier than standard, redraft or underdog.
Yeah. Now I will say something. Did you put Wendy up there? Wendy, what up?
What's up, did.
Girl? Yeah. All right. I missed that. Yeah, I want to make sure that Wendy gets acknowledged. She's awesome. But so I will say this. Typically, I don't like drafting 2 tight ends or bully tight ends in normal leagues because you're locked into having a tight end in your flex. And what that does is, let's say it's 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex. If you go out and you hit on 3 wide receivers, now you need to basically dump one of those tight ends out of your flex to get that other wide receiver in there. I don't like that. But in this format, where it's not only tight end premium, but you have 2 flexes, it doesn't you don't necessarily jam yourself up like that, right? Where it's like you can just play your best guys no matter what. So even though I personally don't do a lot of bully tight end or 2 tight ends, like this is a format where that's not necessarily as bad, and it doesn't handcuff and lock your roster the way it does in a 1 flex league. You know what I'm saying, Kev?
Yeah. I mean, it just gives you, like I said, that flexibility to construct your roster, however you want. If you want to go like Kelce Andrews, provided he falls, I mean, that's not a bad way to do that. I mean, you're pretty much not only doing that, but you're locking other people out of elite tight ends as well. There's only so many elite tight ends. And then once you get past the Hawkinsons and the Dalton Schultz, then you're pretty much swimming in the same pool with everybody else as far as these tight ends. I mean, but the difference between tight end 8 or 9 and like tight end 20 is pretty negligible. You've got your upside plays, but by and large, it's just one big mashup.
Yeah, that's why it's like I'm more willing to go best player available. Whereas in the 1 flex league, I will be honest, I'll steer away from the other tight end. But in a 2 flex league, I don't mind it as much. I like that Barkley pick. I mean, this draft is going pretty chalk so far. Do you really see a lot of picks that you don't love yet? I mean, I don't even mind the Diggs Barkley. I mean, that's.
Yeah, Barkley's been coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, when we're seeing drafts a couple, week before the season, if Barkley's not on like the 1-2 turn regularly. Now, one thing I will say with the Melvin Gordon foot injury news, I'm really surprised that nobody reached for Javonte Williams. I think, I was kind of surprised he's still there, honestly. Just because people love to react to those kind of micro news cycles there with, it's the training camp. You're getting news from every source. So, people will overreact to, I mean, somebody took Javonte Williams 101, on an underdog as recently as like 20 minutes ago. So,
all right. Settle down. Settle down now.
I mean, it's not like you took Austin Eckler 101 or anything, but
I'd rather Austin Eckler 101 than Javonte Williams. I will say that. But yeah. I mean, unless maybe if Melvin Gordon's out for the season, but even then, like it's getting a little crazy, man.
Mike Boone, baby, let's go.
So somebody, Axel in the chat, would you go back to back tight end in a tight end wide receiver flex in tight end premium? Assuming that you have another flex, that you can start a running back in, then it's a similar concept for me. Like I'm willing to take, if I think the tight end in tight end premium is better than a wide receiver there, then I'll take him. So it's like you start looking at it in tight end premium and you have, you're deciding between Tyler Boyd and some tight end that could be a top 2 target on the team. Like it's hard to pick Tyler Boyd over that player when you know that it could even out. They could have the same number of targets, but the targets for one guy are just worth more. So in that type of format, I'm taking the best guy that is available based on the format. So, but if there's just a 1 flex, then I don't know about that.
Kyle Pitts just went. Was kind of hoping that he would be there.
I know. That's such an auto pick for us at this point in this format.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start talking about who we might take. Javonte Williams. I say we take him if he's there. I mean,
we can go double. That's fine with me. I like Debo there too.
Wait, let's take Debo if he's there. I changed course.
Now you are on the clock.
Debo just went. So I don't know if I want to rehash the Mike Evans saga with you. We can just kind of bypass that and take Javonte and then kind of just go from there and piss yellow.
Mike Evans is awesome. Though I will say that in doing so, I did a recent article. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It's where I look at over-unders for players, over-under yardage, touchdown with Vegas, and compare it to ADP. And you can, when you look at it, you can literally see Kevin's argument and Kevin's thought process, right? Which makes a ton of sense. You look at the yardage, over-under yardage totals for guys like Mike Evans and guys like DJ Moore, where it's like DJ Moore, Vegas expects him to get over 100 yards or around 100 yards more than Mike Evans. But they have Mike Evans at like over under 10.5 touchdowns and DJ Moore at 4.5 touchdowns. And where Kev is coming from is that we know that some guys are better at scoring touchdowns than aren't, but it's still not a tried and true metric. Like there's a very real chance that DJ Moore scores just as many touchdowns as Mike Evans. So why not stick to things that we know to be safe, like targets and yards and things like that. So I get what you're saying, Kev, where it's like you look at these two guys, and if the only difference is touchdowns, and touchdowns are difficult to project, maybe we should be waiting and taking other guys. So I get why you don't like Evans at his ADP, but it's hard to say that Evans isn't going to have 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, because he probably will. Right.
Fully healthy. Yeah. I mean, fully healthy season. I think Mike Evans is a lock for 1,000 yards. He's going to get his touchdowns. It's a high powered Tampa Bay offense.
It's a ceiling.
Running backs are starting to go here. So I'm glad at least we got 2. We don't have to think about running back for a while, I would say.
So we're going to have a pick between, let's say right now, before we even get there, before we even have to think about it, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins. Who do you want of those 3?
The Miami thing kind of spooks me a little bit, but I still think that offense is going to be a lot better. I would probably go with Tyreek, T. Higgins, Mike Evans in that order.
Okay. I'm okay with that order. I'm okay with that. Especially in this where it's like, it's about upside, right? Like Mike Evans, I don't know, I could see, I don't think it'd be crazy for him to have 1,300 or 1,400 yards, but I would be less surprised if it was Tyreek Hill. Somebody did us a favor. They took Evans.
Yeah. That's the part. And that's the great thing is that hopefully these people can make the decisions for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Tyreek Hill. So we're T. Higgins, baby.
I'm all fully on board.
I did. I bought a T. Higgins hoodie, by the way. It is packed away in my suitcase, along with the 2 4-packs of craft beer that I will be. It'll be a little dicey, not gonna lie.
Yeah. So, dude, there's an outside chance. So I went to 2 liquor stores today, and I could neither one had Wachusett blueberries. So okay. I'm gonna try. I'm going up to. I'm not. I might have to mail them out to you, is what I'm saying, because I went and checked them out today, and I couldn't find any in the local places. So, but you're gonna get your blueberries. Don't worry, my boy.
I appreciate it. By the way, Wendy, congrats on the George Kittle jersey. That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. George Kittle's that's such a good jersey. When I was talking to Ryan Hallam about this, and we were talking about Fantasy Alarm's going to give one away. I don't know which one he decided on, but I was like, is there anyone that doesn't like George Kittle? He's the nicest dude and
right.
Funny dude, good dude. It's maybe a couple, Rams fans or somebody in the division, but it's it's such a likable player.
Yeah. I can't think of any reason why, you wouldn't like George Kittle unless you're, a fan of a team in the NFC West. That's the only thing. Or you're a staunch Big Ten guy and just hate Iowa.
Yeah. I mean, you're a
this draft
jilted CJ Beathard guy that was it should be Beathard and Kittle.
Yeah, we need to draft George Kittle because we have CJ Beathard.
Yeah, you got that survivor's guilt. Yeah. Nah, I don't know. It's hard to come up with reasons not to like the dude. He just seems like a really good dude.
I agree. Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty chalk. Like, other than like the Eckler pick, which he would probably be going in the top 3 or 4 anyway.
Right.
There's nothing really. This is like aligned with ADP right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that happened to me. Like that happened. I hate like even when things get crazy in the beginning, they smooth out. They always smooth out towards the end. Like I had the Beantown Brawl draft, and it was like crazy in the beginning, but by the time I was picking at 12, it had already smoothed out. You know, I hate like in your mind you see the crazy picks, and you're like, all right, nice, this is gonna get crazy. I'm gonna get a good value, and then it smooths out. So, you know, like this one smoothed out regardless.
yeah. I mean, I don't understand AJ Brown slipping to wide receiver 14. Like, you can make the case for DJ Moore. I don't know if you can make the case for Michael Pittman, you know, reliably. I mean, Keenan Allen, I would take Brown over. I mean, I think he belongs in that kind of that Mike Evans, Hill, Higgins tier. I think that I mean, there has been nothing but good reports on AJ Brown, at least with his rapport with Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, that's one of those things that I don't think the market is really caught up to, and he just kind of feels like a value. I mean, getting in the late third is wild to me. And it's not because I have his jersey behind me.
Yeah, I mean the guy's a beast. If you look at, so that's another one where the over unders he's like only set at 1,000. So if you're big on AJ Brown and you only do a couple, let's say you only do a couple drafts, but you bet a little bit, if you don't get him at his ADP and you want some action on that, that's what I've been kind of suggesting is like sprinkle a little money on some over unders if you're in a state or a place where you can do that, because it's like it's just a way to give yourself exposure to players that you didn't necessarily get, because there's a few of them where you look at it and you're like, this doesn't make sense, right? It's like he has the same over under yardage total as Terry McLaurin, who's going way later in drafts, and I think the sentiment on him is even lower, right? And it's like, you know, DJ Moore's 1,100. You know, there's a bunch of these guys that, I don't know, like like Brandon Cooks and Darnell Mooney are at 950 yards. AJ Brown's at 1,000 via Vegas. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that, when you look at it, it's like crazy that they would be.
Cooks is at 950?
Dude, Cooks, here's some crazy ones.
That's wild.
Dude, Cooks is at 950. Jerry Judy's at 950. Deante Johnson on that. Deante Johnson 950. Mike Williams 950. These guys are all at the same line for yards. The same line. All those dudes.
That's kind of wild. I can understand some of this some of the sentiment, but just
there's room for arbitrage.
Brandon Cooks is the one. Brandon Cooks is the one that sticks out big time for me.
I didn't share the sheet with you. Why haven't I shared that? Here, I'll share it with you now.
I don't know. Yeah, send that over. Yeah, so a little surprise. Dalton Schultz goes over the guy we just talked about, George Kittle, as far as tight ends.
Hey, I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
Oh, you're good. And also, Team 12, a little high testosterone start with Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, Ezekiel Elliott, and Breece Hall to start out the draft. Yeah, you have 2 running backs, you have your 2 flexes, so you are pretty much set there. And for the audio listeners as well, I will kind of recap this too. Our draft so far after 3 rounds, we are got 7 picks back to us. Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, and T. Higgins. This is an FFPC FootballGuys Players Championship. Tight end premium, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end, and 2 flexes. So this is on in tight end premium as well. So Coop will be right back, but we are Josh Allen is the first quarterback to go, and that's a pretty good stack there with Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, AJ Brown, and Saquon Barkley to 109. I think that's a really nice start. And yes, Wendy, we'll post that. We'll post it up on the Lightning Round Twitter as well, and then link that in the podcast notes as well on Spotify and Apple and Google and everything. Everywhere you can find your podcast as well. We have 5 picks to us right now. I was kind of hoping that George Kittle would come to us. It's kind of a dicey proposition, but Looks like we're going wide receiver here. There are some options there. So I mean, there's Brandon Cooks who just went off of the board here. Guys like Jalen Waddle, Deante Johnson, Allen Robinson. I don't know if I want to go to the well again with Allen Robinson after last season's. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but it's.
But okay, I think he realized, like, we've seen this happen before. It's not the first time. I mean, we've seen Mike Wallace give up on teams. We saw Randy Moss at the same age give up badly on the Raiders and come back and have 23 touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so Allen Robinson's going to score 23 touchdowns is what I'm saying.
How do you feel about the either Waddle or Deante Johnson here? We get access to it. If we want to play that Miami offense, it's a cheaper way to play it than Tyreek.
Yeah, I don't want to take Cam Akers, and it's
now you are on the clock.
Montgomery goes. So we have our choice of wide receivers here if we want to double up here with Higgins and then kind of keep that going. What are your thoughts? I like Waddle over Johnson, but I'm not opposed to either.
Yeah, Waddle is another one where Vegas doesn't like the guy. I would kind of do Cam Akers. Let's do. You pick, man. You pick. You're the wide receiver guy. You make this call.
I think I'm going to go Deante Johnson here over Waddle, and maybe we get a chance to get him back. I think he's a lot safer in his offense, even though he's going to have Trubisky or Pickett throwing him the ball. But
in a world where we want to go upside, which we do here, like Deante Johnson is the clear top target on the team, and like everything you read about this player is that he's a good player in a vacuum, which does have the merit to it. Beyond the drops is the only bad thing I've ever heard about this guy. But the route running's good. Obviously we've seen him make some crazy catches. I think he's going to be a very good friend to whoever ends up being the quarterback. So I do like Deante over Waddle. Waddle, the thing that scares me, he had such a low ADOT, 7 yards, the same as Amon-Ra St. Brown, outside the top 100 wide receivers. So guys like that need to be peppered with targets to really have big upside. And I think that's why the over/under for yards for Waddle is so low. Like you're banking on getting a lot of targets there. Cam Akers went, so Cam Akers is the guy that. I mean, I don't know if it was me drafting for myself, I would take Akers. But even then, I say to myself, I'm not sure if that's the play. I think that might be too heavy. You might be hurting yourself because the wide receivers coming all the way back going to be ugly, Kev, right?
I mean, coming all the way back after that. That's why I think if we can get like a third, like I don't know how you feel about kind of the one Marquise Brown. I mean, we're getting good reports on Chris Godwin. That might be somebody that I won't come back, but that's a guy that will be reached for. That's your dicey proposition about injury, people coming back from injuries, but every report has been pretty good on him. And that's a big swing.
Well, the thing is, if Waddle comes back to us now, I'm not against taking Waddle here because I feel like we've done we've let him slide and now we're hedging, I mean, now, cause he offers a floor, no question. Right.
Right.
So I think I'd be cool with Waddle here. It's just, if we had gone Akers Waddle here, then we would be forcing ourselves to take a wide receiver when it comes all the way back, and I don't like having to force. I don't like being forced to take any position.
Right. I mean, I still think we're just wide open.
Wide open. Right. Well, once when you go RB, it opens you up. What I was going to interrupt there is say, any thoughts on Herbert here? I was going to say, are we, maybe, right? But he's gone now. So I think that I love that. Like, we're humans, right? So when you are in the draft and you're like, should we take a quarterback here? I don't want to. And then someone else does it. It makes you feel good. Like, I love that. I'm like, nice.
That's like you're just reaffirming your prior.
Exactly. That dude bailed us out, dude. Let's go.
And the thing is, we've got our option, for
you are on the clock.
Those elite quarter. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown just went. I would take Waddle
What?
every single day and twice on Sunday over Amon-Ra St. Brown. We don't have, I don't know if we want to wax poetic on here, but I think we're good on Waddle here, right?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, like, worse Waddle just went. Like, slow Waddle. Slow Waddle just got drafted. Slow Lions Waddle.
And who's to say he doesn't have a role change that spikes his ADOT either? Like, why can't Tyreek Hill work more intermediate and Waddle kind of opens the field up a little more too? Like, why can't that happen?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear they're going to use 2 wide receivers every snap, Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And then the third spot is going to be a rotation. So, like, Gesicki should play every snap, right?
Wilson will mix in too.
Yeah. So it's going to be like, what it's going to be is, yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a mix after that. And you're going to have Gesicki moving from inline to slot. And sometimes it's going to be Durham Smythe. Sometimes it's going to be Cedric Wilson. Sometimes they'll use fullback Alec Ingold. But I think you're not going to have Waddle and Tyreek coming off the field, right? So it's just a matter of, does Waddle at his ADOT and his play style get the targets you need, you know? So, but I think like where we're getting him, there's nothing better than debating getting a guy and then getting him the next round, right? Like that's a good feeling too.
Absolutely. I just threw something in the private chat too. I don't want to say it and jinx it, but that's a possibility with how the board is shaken out so far.
Foreshadowing. Yeah, Gary, Wendy in the chat. Alex, if you're there, try and guess which player Kev just texted me. See if you can guess it. One guess.
I will say this: it's not Gabe Davis.
Yeah, no. And he probably won't go within the next couple picks.
Our second pick.
Or actually, he might go I'll give you guys a little hint. If he's going to go, he'll go to the team that just picked.
I don't think so, though.
I mean, that's the guy that would do it, right?
Yeah, that's the window. Is if he gets through the window, I think we're.
I don't like that. I'm starting to not like picking Schultz or Hawkinson.
Those two are closer to the tight end zone than they are the elite group. Like great or late. That's like the way to get those tight ends is great or late.
Right. The problem that I have with those guys is that they have players coming back. Michael Gallup's coming back. Jameson Williams is coming back. And in formats like this, where the playoffs matter and the end of the season matters, you want guys that are going up on the way out. You know what I mean? You don't want guys where it's getting spicy and dicey, you know? I love that Jerry Jeudy pick right there.
Yeah, that's not too bad there. And I really like that guy. Team 9 with Stephon Diggs and Allen stacked together, and then Saquon, AJ Brown, and Chris Godwin. Like if you get a bullish, if Godwin's back by like week 4, that team is top.
Those two teams look like teams I would draft. With more, maybe another running back, but I mean, like the more I look at the Jeudy numbers, the more I'm really liking him, dude. Especially when you see Sutton going there. Like it's just crazy to me that Vegas straight up likes Jeudy better than the Sutton. Yeah,
I mean, I get it. It's kind of like the higher priced Metcalf Lockett thing.
Someone guessed it in the chat. Yeah. Wendy, Did you put it up?
I did.
Oh, well, what am I doing?
Amateur? No, I'm just kidding.
But,
Wendy.
I'm like staring at this draft board. I'm like, we got a lot of money on this. So
yeah.
But yeah, good job, Wendy. You're a champ.
We're in it to win it. Gabe Davis goes. I didn't know. That is one thing that I missed is the name change from Gabriel to Gabe Davis. Like that just happened randomly on Underdog. I don't know when that happened, but
yeah, sure. I know the players can kind of pick and choose what they want to do. You know, I mean, and you got to be a big enough guy to get away with it too. Like I know I keep seeing Jody Fortson, the backup tight end for the Chiefs. He goes by Joe. Everyone calls him Joe, but like it hasn't been adopted yet. I think you got to be big enough. You have to be Robbie Anderson coming out publicly and being like, it's Robbie with an IE, not a Y, to get that done, you know?
Yeah. If he ends up getting like 3 like random like Blake Bell-ish touchdowns this season, I think he's going to come out and just say, you know what, it's Joe Fortson. Put some respect on my name, my actual name that I want to be called.
I think that's how it works, dude. That's how it really works. Dude, there was a hockey player that played in Wendy, it's your lucky night. And Wendy, to celebrate your lucky night, you know, maybe go out to a place like the Cheesecake Factory, and at the end, you know, when it's time to pay the tip, you just write an alarm. I mean, that's something that we've been doing around here. It's probably going to get they're not going to be happy with it, but the thing about alarm is that there's so many sites where it does work as a promo code. I'm talking Underdog, where you get, if you type in alarm on Underdog, they match up to $100 bonus deposit with your first deposit. You go on Prize Picks, you know, they match $25. If you do alarm 25 on Yahoo, they match it. I mean, like Monkey Knife Fight, alarm is a promo code. We have so many deals with PF Chang's. I mean, if you're there with, say you just went out with their owner there, Mark, you just got your haircut. They just took the bowls off your heads. You just got a great haircut and you want to celebrate at PF Chang's, the favorite restaurant of the Raiders owner. Like, why not drop promo code alarm?
They will let you bring a backpack in the restaurant.
Yeah, it gets you into most clubs. So promo code alarm really it opens a lot of doors out here. There's so many places that we're affiliated with that, you know, it's just worth a try every single time. You say you're going to a wedding and you're buying a suit, Men's Warehouse or whatever, just throw it in there. Or
you're going to the Fantasy Football Expo.
Dude, you come up to me at the Fantasy Football Expo and drop a promo code alarm, I'm gonna make sure to take care of you. We're gonna do something for you. Whether I gotta drag you to a bar and buy you a beer, or you know, we'll see if we got some shirts or stickers or whatever. Drop that promo code alarm. Let's go. I know Wendy said she hit me up on Twitter. Was like, she says I tried dropping promo code alarm at Cheesecake Factory and they kicked me out. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the thing. It's worth a try. It's a high risk, high reward play, like Evan Ingram, right? So,
right. Roll up to the expo with us. It's gonna work.
Yeah. Free first beer. Yeah. I think that if you came up to me and dropped the promo code alarm at the expo, I would make sure to get you a beer. Look at this yellow, Kev. Let's talk about the actual draft instead of a elongated and bad promo drop that I just did.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's thank you, Fantasy Alarm.
Thank you, Fantasy Alarm, for sponsoring the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. We're powered by Fantasy Alarm. We gotta love it. Yeah. So Elijah Mitchell pick broke up the 9 straight wide receivers that just went off the board. A lot of veteran names on there. A lot of guys like Rashad Bateman, went Mari Cooper, Michael Thomas, Juju, DK, Gabe Davis, Marquise Brown. Yeah, that's it's gonna take the wide receiver pegs down a little bit, but yeah, I mean, wide receivers have been okay. Kyler Murray just went. Adam Thielen just went. So,
Thielen going makes my next picks easier. Guys that I like. Oh, Moondog is someone I would have wanted there.
Who are you feeling right now?
I mean, do you think this guy picking at 4 is watching the pod?
Probably not. I mean, do you want to pull the trigger on the guy I put in there now, or do you want to take the wraparound?
In the queue?
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't put anybody in the queue, or I don't see anybody in the queue.
Which guy are you talking about?
You could say it.
I know who I'm saying. I kind of like Elijah Moore. If we're gonna go,
a man after my own heart. And you know what? Elliot Chris,
such a drop.
CEO of Fantasy Life. If I did not take Elijah Moore here, if he was available, I would be on the street tomorrow. I have to see him at the expo. I have to answer to him.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and the thing about the player that you dropped and that Wendy called is that, dude, there's only one team. So the team that drafted Herbert is not going to draft Burrow.
Now you are on the clock.
So I think we could go Elijah Moore here and get Burrow on the way back, which, we're rolling the dice that this guy at 2 takes him, but you don't have to worry about the guy at the swing taking him because he's not going to go Herbert Burrow. That's crazy, right?
So we're rocking Elijah. We're good.
I like it.
All
Yeah.
right. You'll love to see it.
That's a good chunk of yellow there. And then we can get Burrow and then not have to worry about quarterback for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll probably be the only one we draft. Should be.
Yeah. Because there's waivers in this,
Yeah. Yeah. We can always pick up a guy if we really need to.
I think that so if you take Burrow in a draft like this and other people are just throwing quarterback, they don't care at all, then maybe you start thinking about you have to go crazy big though. You have to go like Fields, right? Or Tua, you have to go for somebody that has like some sort of weird asymmetrical upside. Like, if you draft Joe Burrow, you're wasting it. Yeah, we just solidified. So if you do, because he has, I've in my mind immediately said Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes stack, but that's not real anymore. That's
not in this economy.
That was yesteryear. My mind immediately said that. But it's like you have to go for something that is like you would never draft Joe Burrow. You're wasting your time if you draft Joe Burrow and then also take Matt Ryan. Like, when are you ever going to start Matt Ryan? Like, when he hasn't had a bye week. So you have to go crazy with somebody with rushing upside, if you're not getting a Fields or a Watson or a Tua, then don't do it at all.
Yeah. And we took, last year we took Dak Prescott and Tua. Tua was the upside play on that. But I honestly, we probably just should have stayed at 1 because I don't even think we ended up starting him when bye weeks came by. Anyway, I don't think we got him or he had him.
Yeah, well, the thing with Tua is that he was supposed to have Will Fuller. He was supposed to have Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker missed half the season. Fuller missed the entire season. So we actually really didn't get. I hate that Goddard pick. Hate that pick.
Yeah, that's.
I love it for us, but I hate it for him.
Yeah, that's.
That dude's been building a weird team.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. I'm still looking at Team 9, though. Team 9 is like the one I'm looking at like shit. And then I think that might be our biggest hurdle. McCaffrey, if we hit on the bull case for Javonte, if that foot injury for Melvin Gordon is an issue, we could have the top 2 running backs. If as high as everybody is, CH.
The thing about Burrow, man, is that, dude, Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts are still there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wish they had gone.
Hey, don't underestimate the power of the donk.
The power of the stack. So what do you think, man?
Lamar is there. Yeah, that's what makes it tough. Because I don't think Burrow comes back.
Okay, well let's look at the other position. It's like we're not going to take Tony Pollard, Allen Lazard. Now is the time to take quarterback. The only guy I would consider, I think, if we're going Drake London, this guy I might consider. Oh, he just went.
Yeah, he did just go. Yeah, right now we're looking at we could always. He is Lamar Jackson is one guy we could roll naked. Just based on the rushing, we could roll him naked and be fine.
4-1 passing this league.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm good with either. Burrow for the stack, roll Lamar.
Damn.
My only thing is I think maybe Burrow is going to have a lot more rushing upside. I think I could kind of excuse it last season with the ACL injury the previous year. I would still roll Burrow. I think they're pretty flat.
Let's take Burrow. Let's take him. Let's take him for the stack.
I think that whole thing is kind of flat, quarterback 4 through 6. I don't really think there's a bad pick or you got to take this guy over another. We know what Lamar Jackson can do, but who's to say, why can't Joe Burrow rush for 500 yards this year? Right. Now that he's a year and a half removed from an ACL tear.
If this team is worse this year with the hangover from the Super Bowl, it's not going to be worse because of passing. You know what I mean?
Right. It's going to be worse because Zach Taylor doesn't know how to manage his team. either Joe Mixon or his defense. I mean, and that helps us too.
Yeah, I mean, these teams, the two teams that played in the Super Bowl last year, went all in and got lucky with injuries, and also traded, to supplement them. But these guys were running the same 11 dudes out there like every play, and just kind of got lucky. And that, they were able to also trade for Odell Beckham or sign Odell Beckham right when Robert Woods got hurt. Like, teams aren't doing that for a reason. The Steelers tried doing that for 10 years or whatever, and every year someone would get hurt. Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and the season was over. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so it's such a dangerous way to play. But the Rams, in terms of trading away their picks and using the same dudes every play, I mean, it worked. But it can go bad. When it goes bad, it goes real bad. Wow, Tom Brady there with that name. I got a Tom Brady picture right behind me. Right there. And even that name didn't even come out of my mouth. There were multiple quarterbacks. I would have taken Lamar Jackson. I would have taken Jalen Hurts. I would have taken Russ Wilson, Trey Lance. Like, this is a tournament, no?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it condenses down.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Like, what are you doing, man? Like, this is you got to go ceiling plays here, I love Brady. I think Brady's going to be good. But
he's also 45 years old, and anything can happen. Like, there's only one quarterback that's thrown a pass attempt at age 45. Like, you are literally, I mean, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He is on another planet as far as just being.
Who's the quarterback through that? George Blanda?
I think it was either Blanda or like Steve DeBerg or something.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, who is this dude in the draft whose name is Sling Blade and has a picture of the guy from Sling Blade? That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. That's his picture on here too. But I just like the way I look at like Brady. Like, when I say Brady, I think he's going to be good. You know who was good last year? Kirk Cousins was good, right? Yeah. Like, Kirk Cousins threw for like just as many passing yards and touchdowns as Lamar, as Josh Allen, or as like Aaron Rodgers, but he doesn't have that extra upside. You know what I mean? Like that. So right. Tom Brady can be good and still be bad in fantasy, and Trey Lance or Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson can be bad and still be great in fantasy. That's the difference maker.
100%. Yep. I mean, Jalen Hurts, you ask anybody, like, as far as a real life quarterback, he is probably one of the worst actual NFL quarterbacks. That's why there's been so much, thrown around about replacing him, like whether it be in the draft or they go get somebody. But in fantasy, like, you don't have to be that good. Like, you can still do what you're doing at 59% completion percentage or whatever it was and still be quarterback, 7, 8. And then, but he is like you're hoping he has the Josh Allen case where he just improves dramatically now that they go out and get AJ Brown. Like, they have weapons around him now with Dallas Goedert. They drafted Devonta Smith last season. I mean, that's what happened with Allen. You add Stephon Diggs to the mix, and now he's the number one quarterback in fantasy. So that's kind of the path you're hoping for Jalen Hurts. I mean, I don't know if I see that, but even if he takes a step up and not like the mini breakouts, not like the full on Josh Allen, just superstar full on breakout, like even just a modest increase in like completion percentage. And if Philadelphia decides to throw the ball more because now we have AJ Brown, we don't have to run the ball 50% of the time. Like, that's a win too, because then you're just adding on floor upon floor with the rushing stuff. So that's your bull case for Jalen Hurts.
You have to remember that Josh Allen, his first 2 years, his completion percentage was worse than what Jalen Hurts was last year. Like, it was bad. Like, dude, 52% as a rookie, and then it went up to like 58%. Like, Jalen Hurts last year was already over 60. Like, Jalen Hurts doesn't need to have it can't even be the same increase because he wasn't even as low in terms of being a passer, So that's what you're hoping for. And I think
we just pumped the bags and they just went. That's what happens.
Yeah, a couple of these teams, I think are probably feeling pretty good about that. But I just feel like some of those teams put them in a weird position in terms of running back. They need to get lucky now.
Yeah. I'm just happy that we have, McCaffrey and Javonte Williams. We get this two good young stab. I mean, McCaffrey's done it. We're getting another good stab on a young running back. Would it surprise you if Javonte Williams was the 101 next season? No.
Yeah. Melvin gone. It's like, it's even a position where like he can stay healthy. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to run the guy in the ground. It's, knock on wood, but that's what you want. You want a dude that can be consistent and play all year round. Like if Javonte Williams is this year's Zeke, where he, splits all year and finishes the RB7, then we have a good chance to win because we got him at RB. What is it?
RB12.
You know what I mean? Like the problem that people had with Zeke is he was RB4 or 5 off the board and he finished RB7. But when you draft a guy at RB12 and he finishes RB7, that's almost like what you got from Joe Mixon last year. You know what I mean? Like RB9 or whatever, and he finished RB3. Like that's value. You're creating value.
Right.
Now, are there any running backs here that you would consider in this bunch, or should we just skip over all of it? I think there's nobody that really jumps out at me.
I do like Devin Singletary a little bit. I do like Kareem Hunt just because if we're playing the Kareem Hunt game where if he gets traded, I can't see him getting traded to like Chicago and like being dead, like you're drawing dead. I think that Kareem Hunt is going to go somewhere where it's going to increase his value. I think there's more spots that he can land where his value gets increased versus just bottoms out.
Yeah.
So I like Hunt there. a little bit down further, I like Damian Harris. I've drafted him a lot. I think there's going to be enough where I like him over Ramondre. Ramondre going over him, I think it's almost like that wishful thinking versus Harris, who's done it and has been there. I mean, there's some trade rumors now. People, beat writers throwing that out there about trading Damian Harris. I mean, that would help everybody. That would help Ramondre. That would help Damian. That would help Ty Montgomery.
I mean, we wrote about it last year. We had the article before it happened, the Sony Michel trade. I mean, it's kind of lining up that way almost, where it's like they know they're not going to bring him back. We've seen Belichick do that before, and we've seen Belichick do that with way bigger players than Sony Michel, right? Like he traded Chandler Jones away because they weren't going to pay him, and then Chandler Jones went to the Cardinals and had 15 sacks or whatever, and the Patriots won the Super Bowl. So it's like you can't even call him stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It's not like you can't criticize that move.
He has a history of doing that where he says, I'm not going to pay this guy, so I'm trading him away now. He did it to Asante Samuel. He did it to, this guy is ruthless, man. People forget, bro. Dude, you know who's never forgiven him still is Lawyer Malloy. Never forgave him. Dude, this guy traded away
Richard Seattle.
Dude, Richard Seymour just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. I actually lived in the town that Richard Seymour built a friggin' castle with a basketball court in town that I lived in. And then he traded him before the season started. And that's why Richard Seymour held out going to Oakland. Not even that he was mad, but that like his kids were like getting ready for school. Like that's how late that trade was. Like, this guy is like, he does not care. He doesn't care. Yeah. So if he sees the formula, him and Ernie Adams down in the basement there, chained to a desk, if he sees the formula can generate value by trading somebody before you let them leave as a free, as a free agent, then he's going to take that, right? Like they just spent a whole offseason not taking anybody and traded for Devontae Parker just to collect a JC Jackson comp pick. It's like this guy, he's looking into the matrix. Like it's, it's all these people with their families is just green zeros and ones for this guy.
We're up, and by the way, I like your after that soliloquy. Thank you for that. By the way, also Lawyer Mully was traded to Buffalo. I don't know why I thought he was in Seattle late in his career. Anyway, I like your cue. By the way, the only thing is I would put the second guy above the first guy.
Yeah, do it. I mean, are
you even on them? I mean, and plus that's a nod to.
I'm I'm not trying to
conspicuous
fight.
absence of
I'm not trying to fight with
players.
Britt. Yeah, I'm not trying to fight with Britt tomorrow. I'm going to see Britt in
How-
person.
How much was she getting in this?
I mean, if she were in the chat like Gary is, then she would be getting a bigger share. I think Gary.
Like, where's Sellers? Sellers isn't. Britt's driving.
That's what I mean, dude. Gary's here, so Gary's getting a big share. Shout out Gary. Gary, we're not taking Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk already went, Gary. So, I know I get it, sad, but at the same time, dude, he had
Having a good camp though.
Vegas last year said he was going to get 825 yards. He got 826. So, I don't know.
I'm really hoping we can get him. I'll be so friggin' ecstatic.
Who? Burks?
Yeah.
Oh, did I say it out loud?
That's okay.
This guy's watching.
If he picks him, it's on you.
If he picks him, then we know this is the test. This is the test.
Ken Walker.
Here we go. All right, take him.
Traylon Burks. Let's go.
Calm
And
down.
then grab the guy we talked about at running back after. You like him over any of those guys that are above an ADP? I mean, it's kind of a flat. To me, it's a very flat group. We're talking about Penny, Ramondre Stevenson, James
Singleton
Cook.
already went. Who you think?
Singletary went. Yeah.
Penny?
Damian Harris.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, he's gonna be a starter, man. Dude, I can't believe that Mondre is going ahead. And in the Beantown Brawl this week, Mondre went ahead.
I don't see it. Honestly, I don't see the Ramondre over Damian Harris. I mean, it's the same thing. Take the cheapest one, and they're both up at the same ADP, so maybe that doesn't exactly hold. But I mean, we've seen it out of Damian Harris. That's the thing, and I don't know if is Ramondre going to be taking any of that receiving work? Because right now it's looking like it's Ty Montgomery season in like the 20th round.
Yeah, I kind of like Kadarius Toney.
I do. I mean, I like him too. You're not twisting my arm over Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
The only other guy that I would consider there with him, I have two. One guy is a guy that I think is going too low in every single draft.
Oh, Cole Kmet just went. Sorry to interrupt, but that's kind of
good.
Killer too.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to address tight end maybe on the way back or
next time. No, let's take some.
We can just load up on a couple and then go.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll invent a tight end. That'll be.
We will MacGyver the shit out of tight ends.
Yeah, we could do that.
Popsicle sticks, rubber bands, ball bearings,
booby trap,
prosthetic leg.
I'm in on that.
We'll do it.
It'll lead into the strengths. All right, so back to what you're saying. Sorry.
The wide receivers that I'm looking at, either the guy that's going way too low in every draft, and is Garrett Wilson for me. I just think 10th overall pick. I mean, the only other thing is we have Elijah Moore already, so that might take him out of play. The other guy I like is Chris Olave.
See, I don't like Olave nearly as much. I like Garrett Wilson much more than Olave just because, like, dude, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Alvin Kamara, like, there's a little, I mean, it's thin. In best ball, I like Olave because of his Kadarius.
On the clock.
Great, Kadarius Toney went.
And Damian Harris went.
Do we take Mondre? Are we that spiteful?
I mean, I'm fine with him there. I like the next tier running backs a lot more there. And then I'm fine with Ramondre if you want to take him. I mean, other than that, there's Sky Moore, Chris Olave. We just talked about Lockett, Claypool, Wilson. Like I said, we have Elijah. So
I don't know if I want.
Tight ends, you're looking at the Freiermuth or Smith tier, and I don't know if that's really where we want to grab our tight end.
We're not. If we were going to take one, we would take. I do like that player. I just put in the queue.
We can grab Ramondre.
15 seconds left.
Your call, man. Ramondre or Sky Moore, I think, is where I would go. I would personally go.
I'm gonna go Sky Moore. I think that the tier of like that, my favorite tier of running backs, like that's like my tier du jour. Like snap me up a couple of those and then
You got to think about what we've done too so far, where it's like for the first 6 weeks of the season, minimum, we're going to have McCaffrey and Javonte Williams in the 2 RB spots. And then we're going to have 4 wide receivers in the other spots. And we have 5 wide receivers already. Now we have 6. So it's like whatever running back we have, we don't even need to. They're realistically not. They have to really show out early to get in our lineup. Like I'm trying to think of what Ramondre Stevenson would have to do to crack our lineup over 2 of the, you know.
Yeah, the contingency play is you're hoping Damian Harris gets traded or he gets hurt. So that's pretty much your contingency play there, because I just don't know Ty Montgomery is really the fly in the ointment here with if it were Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson and that was it, and it was those 2, like that's perfectly fine. I just think Ty Montgomery taking a lot of that receiving work, if he's going to be playing the James White / Brandon Bolden plus role in that offense, like if he has a real role in that offense, Ramondre Stevenson is a spell at best.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, or maybe goal line play, but you know, I look at our build too. It's like you start two wide running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, like
3 wide.
It's 3 wide.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad we loaded up then, because it's like, I mean, even then he needs to be better than Traylon Burks or now Sky Moore. It's like, I just don't see it. Gary said, interesting. You thought you'd go wide receiver. I was running. Sorry, I thought we go tight end. Cole Kmet's somebody I would have considered over Traylon Burks.
Yeah.
But now that everyone has a tight end except us, I wouldn't want to force the guy that I'd want to take there, which is Hunter Henry. We can get Hunter Henry, I think, next round. Like, I think we can go a combination of guys like Hunter Henry, David Njoku, Evan Engram, Austin Hooper. Yeah, like next time. I think we should potentially double tap tight end next time around, just to make sure we get it locked up, you know. But
yeah, I'm fine with that. And then we could still probably get the back end of that RB tier, pretty much get the guys that are left, because you could still get the Khalil Herberts and the Ronald Jones and, you know, even the potentially the Algiers and even like Raheem Mostert, like I'm fine with. So like getting some those back end running backs. I mean, those guys are like, you know, the mystery box options.
Yeah. Kenny Golladay pick I like there.
Yeah, that's like one guy that I am totally like fine with as far as a veteran guy just at where he's going. Like, right. I'm perfectly fine with Kenny Golladay. I mean, last season, I think it was kind of a dicey move just based on what they had around. I'm sorry, I just saw this comment. I had to stop my thought and laugh.
That's a great comment, but it's true though, because like with James White with the hip subluxation, like James White's not going to be ready. James White not even. I love the same
thing that Ryan Fitzpatrick had, by the way, and knocked him out clear out of the season.
Yeah, so he might not play again, man. You know, it's just the truth with James White, which means Ty Montgomery, Pierre Strong, like those guys are all in the mix. So it's kind of scary.
By the way, I figured you would enjoy this. If we really see another donk pick, we can add this to our repertoire here. I don't know if we can hear it. I did find this. Yeah,
excellent.
I did find that we can add our own music.
We can add music, dude. That's a good
now
one.
We could probably get the copyright strike we were looking for.
Is that Yakety Sax?
It is.
That's excellent. Yeah. Well, I think that's public domain at this point.
Is it public domain now?
Guess
we're gonna find out.
80 years. I think there's a lot of those old songs that are going to be public domain now.
Well, if I get an email with a copyright strike, I will be sure to let you know. I will physically tell you that we got a copyright strike, because I will see you tomorrow at the Lightning House.
That's right. Yeah. So I think I can do this round and next, and then I actually got to drive into the city. I'm getting my flight's at 6 in the morning, so I'm driving to a buddy's and getting up at like 4. So I can do these next 2 picks, and then I got to rock and roll.
Sounds good. And I will probably take this offline as well, because we are hitting in an hour too. So obviously we will recap everything and let you know where we stand. Well, we can recap it next week too.
But let's get the next picks in. Like, let's, who cares if it's an hour? Let's stay a little longer. And
well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we'll get those 2 picks. So
Russ there, that team on the far right. I mean, as I personally like Bateman, I like Miles Sanders, and I like Zeke, Bateman, and Miles Sanders, so I'm gonna like that team. But getting Russ there is such a good pick. Russell Gage, I don't know so much about that one.
Right. Yeah, Russell Gage is tough. Now he joins Team Hamstring with Mike Evans and
wide receiver 4 with a hamstring injury. Sick pick, dude. Yeah, get Gary in, dude. Gary, why isn't Gary on this pod in general, bro? Gary, like, why aren't you on? Like, what are you doing, dude?
Gary, I'm sending you the what you call it, the link.
Get him in there. Get him in here. He should have been in here already. And Wendy, we're not going to be at the expo. What the heck, man? That's what it's for. I feel like the analysts have tried to turn the expo into a thing. It's supposed to be for fantasy football enthusiasts, like in general. You know,
it's not just for content creators at all.
No, dude. No. Half the people going are, people that are just analysts on Twitter anyway,
Gary, check your DM. I just sent you the thing.
Yeah,
Gary will be in here within 10 seconds.
Wake up, Gary.
10.
Kenneth Gainwell, that's a good pick.
I like it. I really do. I do like that pick. That's true anchor RB start right there. Get your wide receivers. You get your Hurts and Devonta Smith stack. Get your Darren Waller with your elite tight end. That's as classic as an anchor RB as you can get.
Yeah, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, there aren't a lot that are just complete total donkey boys, but donkey boys will usually present themselves very early in drafts.
That Mark Andrews.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The Mark Andrews Dalton Schultz stack there is kind of a donkey boy move, though, if you ask me.
Yeah. The donkey boy will present themselves. If you do not know who the donkey boy is, you are the donkey boy, and we are not the donkey boys.
Nah, never been. Never been. Not once. Not now, not never. That's what I say.
As I always say, Isaiah Spiller. I'm intrigued. I think if Isaiah Spiller takes a little more off the plate than people realize with Eckler.
Yeah.
With our 101 Austin Eckler.
And it doesn't even hurt Eckler. I would say it arguably doesn't, because Eckler's never had 1,000-yard rushing season ever. Anyway, you know what I mean? There he is, dude.
Yo.
There we go, boy.
I won't lie. I'm actually cooking dinner as we're gonna do this. I hope that's okay. It won't be too loud. But Kevin,
what are you cooking
at any point?
What are you making?
Yeah, give us. This is a cooking. This is a cooking show now.
No, we're doing super simple. I'm just making brats and some French fries. So,
well, give us a rundown of how you do the brats, man. Let's learn something while you're here.
I go and I buy a pack of brats. I open them up and I put them on the pan. And super simple. This is what we do in the Pacific Northwest. We cook our brats on a pan on the stove because it's too cold to barbecue and rainy all the time.
I like that though. What temp? Are you going medium heat? What kind of heat? Do you cover them?
I do not cover them. I don't know. I haven't cooked brats in a pretty long time, so we'll see. I'm thinking, we'll probably go like a medium heat because I don't want them to be too much on the outside. Plus, they're pretty big, so I got to cut them in half for the kiddo. Yeah.
I think that's smart.
I'm like
cooking show. Emerald, dude. Yeah, this is a good one. If we can get the right tight ends here, I'm glad someone took Irv Smith. I would love for someone else to take like Freiermuth or Mike Gesicki here. The guys, I'm on board with Hunter Henry. And do you like Njoku more than Ingram?
I do. I mean, I'm okay with Freiermuth here.
You are up next.
Like,
And this is tight end premium. So it changes the game because in a normal league, it's like where you only start one tight end. Like tight end 8 is a bad player. Tight end 9 is a bad player. But in this, where you have 2 flexes, tight end 8 is a good player. Everything up to tight end 15 is a good player. So now it kind of changes the dichotomy. But the thing is, Freiermuth, I mean, like, where is he in the pecking order? The Big Ben was the better quarterback for him.
right.
Are you nervous at all about?
We got a decision to make. We're on the clock. Whether we want to go get one now and get him, or if we want to grab a running back.
Who would we get for a running back?
I like Darrell Henderson. I like Algier. I like Carter. I like all those guys.
I like Algier. Gary, what do you think? Would you go Algier here or like a Freiermuth or Gesicki?
I would be between Muth and Hendo. I would not go with Gesicki, and Hunter Henry's making me nervous. I was going to we'll talk about it in a sec, but I would go with Muth or Hendo because I think that Hendo has the most likeliness of becoming significant.
15 seconds.
Seconds left.
All right, let's take Henderson. Does he have different bye weeks than our guys already?
7. So we're clear. You want a Hendo?
Yeah, take him.
All right. Yeah,
So
I
the
like
question I
Hendo
wanted
there.
to ask,
Sorry, go ahead.
are you nervous at all about the Pats offense from stuff that's been being said in training camp that's just not clicking without McDaniels? And now, I mean, the magician, Matt Patricia, who is just, I mean, the rocket scientist, right?
The guy's
There goes Muth.
He's a genius, but I mean, it's like, I don't know. I think they're gonna be fine at the end of the day. Like they were never, like, no one was projecting them to be like one of the best offenses in the league. They're gonna be run heavy, and you're banking on somebody to score touchdowns. That's why I think Hunter Henry could be. He was a top 2 target on the team last year. He scored 9 touchdowns last year. Like, he's a guy who could, and he's proven that he can beat guys in man to man. That he can line out wide. He lined up out wide for 70% of his pass plays. Like, I think that his role is pretty solidified. Where I'm worried is if you're banking on like any of the wide receivers, really, honestly, like Jacoby Myers, kind of a tough play.
Yeah.
So
if I'm going to go with Gesicki, I just wanted to say I would probably try and get Tua just as like a second, just to see if you can make us. If he hits, you have Waddle and you have Gesicki, even if that's a lot to put in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin.
I just don't feel good about Gesicki just in this offense. Like, we know it's going to be featured. It's Hill, it's Waddle, and then after that, it's literally a throwing pickles at the wall, at the window, and seeing who wins that race.
God, I love throwing pickles at the window.
That's
Billy Madison.
That's that Billy Madison. Yeah. Oh my God, I am the winner. It's just Gesicki there. He's very likely the 3rd target on the team, which in this format, that's why I don't even like tight end premium. It's just an annoying format, to be honest. But
You are up next.
who
Joe
just
Lever just went.
Yeah, that's a bad
We'll
pick.
take Hunter Henry here.
He has 2 wide receivers and 3 tight ends in a 3 wide receiver start.
Yeah, that's digging yourself a hole, boy. I think that guy might have missed the memo in the format, like I did, where I was like, oh yeah, 2 wide receivers. Like that guy's going to be in trouble because even Kadarius Toney is not a reliable player, and he needs to rely on Kadarius Toney every week now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I would definitely go Hunter here. Yeah,
I'd take Henry here.
The hen house.
But the thing is, if Henry goes right now, I would take Gesicki because we at least know that he's going to be the
And then I think we could probably go running back, tight end again.
I say we go tight end.
Now you are on the clock.
Tolbert just went. So
All right, good. Take on
Hen Dog.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter Henry is a guy that, I mean, you can just feel comfortable having him as your starting tight end every week, just in the sense that he's going to get a couple targets and he's going to score or he's not going to. But like last year, he pretty consistently, got a couple of looks. There were only a couple games where Like there was one game where he had 9 yards, right? In every other game, he was at least getting a couple looks, catching at least, he had a couple where he had 30 yards or whatever, but
Right.
4 catches for 30 yards in tight end premium is keeping you above water,
Right. Looking at this, how we've got this constructed, we're good on quarterback for the rest of the draft. We're going to need running backs, but I think this is probably a 3 tight end build.
Has to be.
Yeah. And then sprinkle in one more wide receivers.
If we can get, so for tight ends, if we can get,
like now we started the beast here because after Freiermuth, we're looking at 5 of the last 6 picks were tight ends. I'm glad we at least got Henry when we did and didn't kick the can one more cycle.
Yeah, we probably should have gone Henry Ingram here. But if we can get one of Njoku, Ingram, Austin Hooper, or I still like Brevin Jordan,
Me too.
So if we can get one of those guys, I'd feel pretty good. It gets pretty gross after that. So.
Yeah.
But we're going to get
tight end.
The thing is, we're going to get the best tight end off waivers. The best tight end that's available week 1, we're going to get them. We have to factor that in. For the last couple of years, like we were hitting the numbers and we're getting the guy, like freaking even when we got Logan Thomas and dropped him, like we had him, 2 years ago, like we had him, and we dropped him. But like we're gonna get the guys that are popping.
Well, you know what? We're gonna get our guy in the last round is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I was about to say the name that I remember.
You already know who it is.
Team 9. Team 9 has no tight end. And dude, his first half of his draft and then the second part.
I had him in the first half.
I thought we were the only ones.
Particularly like the Amari pick. Everything else I actually love. And I love Olave, Chris. I will say I do Olave him.
Yeah. All right, I gotta go, guys. I gotta drive. I got to go drive to the big city and then wake up early. And then I'm going to be, but by the time I know it, I'm going to be in Ken, shaking hands, kissing babies, shaking babies, kissing hands. So
you ain't kissing my hand. Well,
I'm kissing your hand and I'm shaking your baby. That's
good
happening.
thing I don't have a baby.
Well, you better get one.
And I'm not bringing it with me to the expo. Denny Carter signed my baby. You can't get next to me when I'm signing autographs. When I get into autograph mode,
when I get autograph signing mode. All right, I will see you guys. Are you trusting us
with the rest of this team?
Yeah. Text me. You know who I like. Here, let me throw a couple guys in the queue.
I toss some guys in the queue. I know there's a couple that you like.
Yeah. You know the guys I like. Man. We're good.
We're like lockstep. So we'll
from this point on, we're very much on the same page. It's just early strategy at times that diverts, but we met in the middle on this one. We took 2 running backs because they were there that we both liked, and then we jammed wide receivers. It's like the best of both worlds. So
we're in good shape. I like this team. The bones are there, as they would say.
Yeah, plus Gary's holding it down, boy.
Exactly.
Let's go.
We're riding here.
Like fire up those snoozes.
We ride.
Coop, you do look extra dapper tonight, so I'm excited. Everyone's gonna show up and be like, "Whoa, I didn't realize you looked this good."
This old thing, yeah.
Come see how good I look.
Yeah.
Don't listen to what anybody has to say. You are good looking.
Yeah, on that note, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
See you tomorrow, buddy.
See ya.
Later.
That James Robinson pick, man. When that report came out saying he was running with the ones, it was like, what?
I'm still very much not.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm in on an ETN. And that's like more of an emotion-based thing, which I've tried to cut out. But I mean, James Robinson could be just a barnacle on the Travis Etienne train. Like he could just hang around and just gum up the works.
I was wondering if they put him there just to say, you know what, we can move on from this guy. Let's just figure something out and just keep going. And I don't know if they would try to trade him or not. I mean, I don't really know what trade value you have at that point without any injuries. Fingers crossed yet, but I don't know.
Right.
Man,
Trey Lance, by the way,
Oh.
at 12 is like a monstrous pick. Like, you have to probably take. I mean, you could take him as your 1. If he got him as his 2, that's a pretty good combo. I mean, they're both week 9, so good luck. You're gonna probably have to pick up a quarterback, but you know what? If you got those 2, I think you can stomach, Geno Smith for a week.
I feel like Team 12 took Njoku. Lance got picked because 11 was like, oh my gosh, I just got Lance in the 12. And he was like, damn it, I didn't see Lance was there. Because I like Russ, but like Russ is on a different team. I expect fireworks, but his team with the weird construction he has, he's taking the hit at wide receiver and he's going heavy everywhere else. Take Lance there and solidify so that wide receiver is kind of your weaker position, but everywhere else you're solid. Well, he has knocks in it. Joking, so I don't know if solid's the right word.
Right. Khalil Herbert going there, kind of not great, Bob. I was kind of hoping he would get there. But I think just based on the structural, how we've got it so far, I mean, I'm looking at wide receivers. I'm fine moving down into that next tier and not thinking about it, at least on this turn. But I think we probably have to grab another running back and a tight end here.
This is that tough spot that I feel like I've gotten into since I've really started to pivot to more of a heavy wide receiver, like hero running back, which not that that's this build, but this is where I struggle because I just keep seeing wide receivers that I really like. And then it's hard. And you're really good at this, figuring out the running backs late. I'm nervous that this next string of 6 picks or 5 picks is going to be those daggers of those guys that you really like, given who else is gone.
Right.
If this is becoming too much, I can mute at any point. Just let me know from a sound perspective.
You're fine. Yeah, like this is the part. This is like just the navigating these waters, like because there's just so much uncertainty with like all of these guys, and this is where you're either taking zeros or you're getting the guys that are going to be turning into top 24 options, wide receiver, running back. And then obviously you're hoping that you hit on a tight end that finishes in the top 10. I mean, quarterback, I would say, is pretty much out for us here with getting an elite guy, because we did take like Dak and Tua, but we really didn't need to take the second one. Would rather take a shot on like the upside play at a running back or wide receiver where we're going to need numbers there. So like I'm looking at, I'll put it in the.
I got a wide receiver I think you should go for, but I don't know what you're looking for at this point. Yeah, I figured on a few of those, and that like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for somebody that can finish top 24? Are you looking for a stable body? Obviously at this point, you're like, everyone's looking for like, you want a guy that's going to climb and climb and climb. I mean, that's a different thing, right? Some people are going to be boom bust. Some people are going to be more floor guys that in a pinch you can play.
Right, like I'm looking at right now. So we're at McCaffrey and Williams. Those 2 guys are going to be in our lineup every single week minus buys. So with those 2, you could take bigger swings on the next couple of running backs. Darrell Henderson, we've seen him be a top 15 running back. Like, and right now Cam Akers, yes, he's coming out. He's come off an Achilles. He came back at the end of last year, but why can't Darrell Henderson, eat into that? And then he's a clear, contingent play with Cam Akers. I don't see any reason why, he can at least solidify a role there. And then I'm looking at, bigger swings you can take on him. And there's one guy that is, I would say a very big swing in an elite offense, that one of the guys I put in the private chat. So yeah, Evan Engram going there. That kind of stinks, not gonna lie, but there's options. There's plenty of options. Right now, it's a queue of 2 right now with 2 of the guys that we talked about. Yeah, that wide receiver that you put in there is somebody that I'm definitely thinking about. I don't know if I think he'll go in the next turn, I believe. Did he already go? He didn't go yet, did he? No, he didn't go yet. So I think we got a little bit of time on him.
Now you are on the
Who
clock.
just went? Michael Gallup. So I think I'm going to take a shot here and hope that if the tight end doesn't go, that
I agree.
Yeah,
I feel like I know what you're about to do.
We still have our choice of tight ends in the tier.
Yep.
I'm going to take Ronald Jones here.
Yep, agreed.
Because they just showed him he was like pass, like he's going to be on the, like he's going to be pass blocking. He's going to be on the field. Like CEH, if CEH does what CEH did last season, he's going to just play himself out of either out of the rotation or is just a bit part. I mean, look at the playoffs. CEH was hurt. I believe it was a shoulder, and Jerick McKinnon came in and did a lot of that heavy lifting for the Chiefs at running back. So, like, they're not afraid to go away from CEH if they have to. They're going to give him that shot. He's like the odds-on favorite to be the top, he's going to have the most rushing attempts. Like, not saying that he doesn't have a shot. At his ADP, that's a very dicey proposition when you've got guys like Ronald Jones, even Isaiah Pacheco, you've got Jerick McKinnon, like it's a very deep running back room that can all cut themselves bigger pieces of the pie than you would want if you're going to draft CH.
Yeah, and I think having the number twos at each of the wide receiver and the running back position lends you to a high upside possibility there. Wow,
four tight ends, man.
But he has Evans and Tony, who are clearly, I don't know. No jokes I can make there because I really like Tony. So, and I know that Evans at least has a floor at minimum, even if the where he's going is pretty high.
Like, imagine lighting $350 on fire. Like, that's.
At least my Scott Fishman seems free where I took my four tight ends relatively early.
Like, I'm saying this, and then we're going to finish like 8th, but screw it. No, I think we're going to be a lot better than that. Like, just with this team, like, we're up next. Mark Ingram just went. Like, good God. Yeah, I mean, that running back tier is kind of dried up. I get dried up with Rojo. So right now,
supposedly there's a breakfast narrative going with
Nico Collins just went. I think right now I got to take a tight end, and I'm going to take Austin Hooper.
I hear the breakfast narrative is happening between him and Ryan. So
let us hope, man, because he just was as recently as 2 seasons ago, he was the highest paid tight end in football. Like,
I think I was just listening to one of your more recent episodes, and I believe you or Britt dropped a stat. I thought it was on that about the percentage of targets going to the tight end position in Tennessee was like 30% over the last 2 years. It was or it may have been red zone percentage. It made me change my mind and be like, all right, like, I mean, I've already been on Hooper, but it solidified and made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, like looking at that, it's kind of a dusty tight end group, but you're getting production out of those guys. And if Robert Woods is dust, coming off of his ACL, we took another measured stand on Treylon Burks. Like, there's a world where the top 2 target earners on this team are Treylon Burks and Austin Hooper. Like, why can't that be a thing?
Hold on one second.
You're good. So, yeah, Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry, that is our tight end group. Love and life. Let's go. For you audio listeners, we will recap this here. Chris McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, at wide receiver, 3rd round, T. Higgins, Deante Johnson, Jalen Waddle, Elijah Moore. Took our quarterback in round 7 with Joe Burrow. And then we're going round 8 with a couple wide receivers, Treylon Burks, Sky Moore. And then round 10, Darrell Henderson, Hunter Henry at tight end, Ronald Jones, and Austin Hooper. So we got our 2 tight ends. We got 4 running backs, 6 wide receivers, and a quarterback. And I don't think we're going to go back to the well at quarterback. So we're pretty wide open here as far as what we want to do. And I might take a look at wide receiver and go back and dip into that well.
So if Tua makes it back to you, you're not considering that just for the possibility that he ends up getting up there? I mean, you with Waddle, is Gesicki? Oh, he's been taken. Never mind. But
I just with Tua. I mean, if we took a 7th round Joe Burrow, where we're hoping that Joe Burrow is going to be a top 2, top 3 quarterback. I just don't know. I don't want to take another quarterback and having to make a decision who to start each week and then just take a guy for the bye weeks. I mean, if Joe Burrow, something happens to Joe Burrow, like we're starting like Matt Ryan or something like that with this group, and we're floundering at that point. I just don't know if I want to take another stand on a quarterback we've got 6 rounds right now. We're going to end up taking a kicker. We're going to end up taking a defense too. So we've got 4 more picks to figure out what we want to do there. So I just don't know. Sense. Yeah. There's an off chance that maybe Tua might still, I don't know if Tua would be there, but he'll probably get taken next couple rounds. But you're still going to have options out there too. Like I doubt like a guy like Mac Jones or like Ryan Tannehill or Zach Wilson, those Jared Goff. I doubt those guys are going to be drafted.
That makes sense. I think that Team 6 is hoping that Derek Carr is going to come back to him, and that was his plan for a long time.
Yeah, he's got Runner Renfro, so that's. They've got
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7, 8 wide
receivers. Why is
Josh
Jacobs still going that high? It's so strange.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know if I would take a shot on Josh Jacobs, even, if his ADP were depressed. Like, making the decision to take him over, like I would take Elijah Mitchell all day over him. I don't know if I'd take CEH. Like, that would be the one guy I probably would take Jacobs over, but like Pollard, Patterson, I'd probably take over Jacobs. Like, not only is there all these other running backs there's the Earnhardt Perkins system where I don't see a way where Josh Jacobs can be the receiving back in that offense where, they clearly specify out like New England has done with, they have Damian Harris. He's the rushing and red zone guy. They've had James White / Brandon Bolden as the receiving back. Like, they divide up their roles very evenly. So I just don't know if like Josh Jacobs is going to get, it's kind of like the same thing in Kansas City where that pie is going to be cut so many ways. And if you're going to take a back, take the cheapest one. I'll take Zamir White like now over, get him in the 14th round versus Jacobs in the 5th. Like, it's not really for me. Honestly,
really like
that's
that.
Not really a decision.
I really like that pick here, just given the team that's been constructed. But I'm curious, man. It's so hard because I can't see the available players, and my ADP is kind of off. I'm trying to think what other wide receivers are there. Nicole Hardman is something I thought about, but then we realized there's Sky and Rojo already. So just trying to kind of think through the rosters on the board. Am I crazy? Is Jameson Williams still on the board? I know it's super late. Because
he is. Yeah, he is still there.
I know it's pretty far, but like talking about 7. Man, I wanted to ask you about him earlier, but I didn't know if that was what the etiquette was. Just from a Packers perspective, disregard this draft. Is Romeo someone that you're buying in?
Romeo, like, I was actually talking about this with my good friend Kate. We did her Tell Kate podcast. She's a Packers fan, and we were talking about the Packers fantasy options. Like, Romeo Doubs is the only guy in this offense that has ever earned targets, like going even back to college. Like, and Sammy Watkins, I guess, did it when he was at Buffalo for like those 2 seasons. But like, if anybody could do it, it's Romeo Doubs. He's clearly over Christian Watson right now in the pecking order. Wouldn't surprise me if Romeo Doubs carves out a bigger role in that offense out of the gate. Like, they need guys. It's like an all hands on deck thing. And, Allen Lazard is going to be out there because he's a great blocker. And he's going to, where did Allen Lazard go here? Went in the 7th. That's very rich for me as far as just taking him because he's the perceived wide receiver 1 in that offense, but would not surprise me one bit if Romeo Doubs was like the guy that we needed, the guy that, you know, you had to have in the Green Bay offense when 2022 is all said and done. You're muted. You are very.
The amount of can you hear this? Someone told me that like my headphones tend to keep the good.
Yeah, it's it's like hissing.
Yeah, so that's why I keep muting myself. I completely agree with that with Romeo Doubs and 4th round wide receivers. If Coop was here, the amount that he would be talking about that. Damn it, Brevin just went. But I put somebody in the chat. I mean, I don't really know where you're at on it. The most recent person I just said. I don't think that I'm missing the name.
No, he's there, and he's actually at the top of like the ADP right now. There are a couple younger guys that are not younger. I mean, actually, technically, they are. Watson is 24 years old, so I guess if you want to be like that, then yeah, there are a couple younger guys out there that I really like at wide receiver that are upside swings. I mean, we took 2 upside swings at wide receiver already. You know, that's what we're kind of hoping for, and 2 guys with buzz that, you know, I'm looking at, and I'll just say it because I don't really care if they get picked. We'll figure it out. George Pickens and Alec Pierce.
Interesting. Even with Deante, does that
and
make
Pickens
you nervous?
just went.
Yeah. Would having Deante preclude you from getting getting George?
No. Buffalo defense just went. I'm going to take Alec Pierce here. At least get another upside swing at wide receiver. No, we're very rookie heavy, but
I'm pretty sure it was the awesome Sean Siegel that talked about that. I've heard him the most frequently talk about wide receivers in redraft, rookie wide receivers, and that they do present a ton more value than I think people give them credit for. And it changed my perception on rookie wide receivers. And even listening to JJ Zachariason say that they have a higher hit rate of being median bust, which is more 3 points above their expected ADP would suggest.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just taking these wide receivers. I mean, they're mystery box options, and then we're looking at, you know, Alec Pierce in a group with, you know, the other wide receivers. You're looking at Paris Campbell. You're looking at Ashton Dulin. Like Alec Pierce is already running with the ones. Like more than likely, Alec Pierce is going to be a starter like day 1 with the Colts, and any kind of wide receiver that can command any sort of target share outside of Michael Pittman, like you want that like Alec Pierce has a deep ball profile. That's as Campbell just goes, defense goes. Don't want to go quite in that wheelhouse quite yet. Wan'Dale Robinson just went. I did think about him. Only guy that I'm thinking here, I do want a running back. I think I'm going to take. It's between 2 guys, but I think that we were drafting him in like the 6th, 7th round last season, and
Raheem?
That offense is Raheem Mostert. Yeah. I mean, that offense is still so wide open, especially in the run game. Like, I want to at least take a shot at Raheem Mostert here. I mean, worst comes to worst, we drop him.
Tua's still on the board. That's crazy. I'm not pushing for him. It's
right.
Or disrespect that I feel like Tua is going so far that I feel like I'm going to end up owning him in a lot of August drafts solely because I want my QB2, if I have one, to be somebody that can pop and be QB5.
Right. No, I get it. I completely get the play on Tua. Let me pull this back up.
How many rounds are there? And what are the
20?
So kicker and defense.
Kicker and defense. Yep. So right now we have there's 3 picks left.
Okay. And I will say I'm not going to make it all the way there. My dinner is almost done. I have the buns in the oven.
Buns are in the oven.
My wife likes crispy, really toasty buns like mine. And
Not a big crispy bun guy, honestly.
neither am I. Not at all.
All I'm going to say is I am not looking forward to waking up at 5:30 to get up but
it'll be great.
it'll be great. Yeah, I'll get to spend 4 hours in O'Hare chilling.
So the guy that just picked Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Brandon Ayuk, you know you're starting them in the first 3 weeks because you took Hopkins, Rondale Moore, George Pickens, and Jamison Williams, who knows, two of those guys could do something. Two of them, aren't doing anything for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Wild.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the constructions here. Like, my thing, especially with tight end, is if I'm taking an elite tight end, I can always make up tight end later if I need to for a bye week injury. Like, taking Evan Ingram with Kyle Pitts to me is wasteful. Taking Brevin Jordan with George Kittle to me is wasteful. Like TJ Hawkinson, like that group of like him and like Dalton Schultz. If someone took Dalton Schultz, I would be fine with taking a tight end, another tight end, like an upside swing.
Yeah,
that kind of tier would be like the cutoff. Like if you're taking that elite tight, like Darren Waller, he hasn't drafted a tight end, probably is not going to. Tua just went, by the way, with the Matt Ryan thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
But yeah, Kelsey probably not drafting a tight end with that. Hawkinson, Herb Smith, like that's fine. Like the player selection aside, not my cup of tea, but it is what it is. So,
I'm on the
Axel has a question for you. Did you beer boil the brats?
No, dude. I cook for a 5-year-old and my wife. I am not somebody that does fancy cooking. My wife, amazing cook, honestly, just unbelievable cook, even better baker. I have French fries that I didn't even flip and brats that I cooked on a normal, just stove, normal, not even cast iron, like a what's it called? Scratch resistant thing. So
right.
No, Axel, you'll show me how to do it when we go to that Seahawks game in January, in December, not January. You guys are gonna play games in January.
Yeah, right. Well, the first part.
Well, I mean, if they technically have to put a team out there, even though it's pointless for that Week 18 game, sure.
Just put a bunch of XFL guys out there; it'll be fine.
I mean, that's kind of what they have.
Yeah, it's pretty much the roster right now, aside from DK Metcalf and Lockett and like Noah Fant.
So I have a strategy question for you. Okay.
Yo.
So you know ADP really well because you've done so many of these. At what point, when you're so few picks left, do you say ADP be damned? I just want to make sure that I get my like couple guys, and if it's okay, I'll throw some names out there that I am very high on. Well, I'll say one that I'm serious. Every draft I've left, I have Deante Johnson because if Hunt gets traded, we've seen what he can do. The other guy is the tight end that we all know, that you and I and Coop know that we would want to go for. And I don't even want to say his name because I feel bad. But like, at what point are you like, I don't care if it's 2 rounds, like it's so late here that I just want to get my guys and not worry about it.
Right. Like it's such a low percentage as far as guys you're drafting in this, the next 3 rounds, probably from 14 to 18, even 19, 20, obviously, because if you're already drafting your kicker or defense, then yeah, but it's so flat across the board that I have no thought to where I want to just get the guys that I know that I think are going to be better swings, better, plays. Like Jerick McKinnon just went. Like Jerick McKinnon is a guy that I probably have like 20% on an underdog because I feel like that is the cheapest way to play the Chiefs backfield. Like that's what I'm looking like. If you're big at a KJ Hamler, and I am, just take him. Like if you're big on Trey Sermon for whatever, take him. Like at this range, like ADP be damned because everybody just going to get their guys. Like I'm not following some kind of strict code with the ADP. Oh, I got to take this guy over this guy because he's ahead of ADP. Like I'm not looking at that whatsoever. I'm just looking at guys that I think can fit structurally within what we have right now at a position of need, or B, I don't know if I'd really a B, but just we'll
Nah,
go
makes
with A.
sense. So Zamir White going is kind of rough, even though we have no idea what's going to happen. It's all just a lot of buzz right now.
Yeah.
I do the KJ Hamler and KJ Osborne. I personally, I think my quarterback de jure, if I would not, Lance, I don't even know because I'm too much of a homer to take him in fantasy. But is Russell Wilson, and I'm just so curious to see what they do with that offense. So I'm gonna jump. I really appreciate being able to come on. I obviously love being on here, and I apologize if I ruined any of the audio for everybody and the video. But hey, man, have an amazing time at the Expo. Next year, I'm going to give you the biggest goddamn hug I've ever given somebody because we're going to actually get to meet each other for the first time when I'm there. But I already told her,
man.
Pinky promise. Her and I told her, I'm going to the Expo next year. She said, okay.
All right. Is she going too?
No.
No.
Aaron put it best on Twitter when I was like, are you going? And she was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to go. I don't want Kevin to have to be thinking about me while he's there. Let him do his thing. And I was like, that's the right way to do it. So,
hey, it is what it is. It's a fun time. It's a fun time for everybody, not just for the industry people. It's for everybody. It's for the people that not just create the content, but consume the content as well. And that's what Bob Lung is stressed about the Fantasy Football Expo, is that it's inclusive. It's for everybody. It's not just we're hanging out as content creators, having beers and, doing that. It's about connecting and letting you know how they feel about your content. That's fantastic. Yeah. I'm excited.
If anybody in the comments hasn't done it so far, Kevin's birthday was on Monday, so wish him happy birthday. Aaron's birthday is today, who is his girlfriend. Yep. So also wish her a happy birthday. If you don't follow them on Twitter, do so and wish them happy birthdays. But hey, man, have a great time. I appreciate it. I'm going to go feed my wild animal son, and we'll chat later.
Awesome. Thanks, man, for hopping on.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye.
All right. See you, buddy. All right. So I guess it's just me in the chat here. Everybody, we are through 15 rounds here. I will recap the team. Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, T. Higgins, Deante Johnson, Jalen Waddle, Elijah Moore, Joe Burrow, Traylon Burks, Sky Moore, Darrell Henderson, Hunter Henry, Ronald Jones, Austin Hooper, Alec Pierce, and Raheem Mostert. We have a pick in 4 picks. Our first kicker just went off the board, Justin Tucker. It's the tight end, the real dead zone where most of them are going to be dead aside from a couple of them. So that's where we are right now. Right now, I mean, I think we kind of got to fortify running back a little more, but I do like some of the wide receivers that are out there. If we get some kind of news on a certain wide receiver coming back, I mean, what's the worst case? He doesn't get, we drop him. This is the range where, it's not going to hurt us if we take a stab on a guy and he doesn't pan out. It just ends up being a churn spot for the people, in week 1 that show out that weren't drafted. I mean, we're going to have $1,000 fab budget here to be able to get some of these guys. I have 2 guys in the queue. I really hope this running back lasts, because I think I have to take him here. If he is still there, I'm very excited that he's still in my queue somehow. I don't think we're going to be reaching for a quarterback for the rest of the draft. I think just the one quarterback is fine. Tight end, I may want to grab one more. We have 5 picks left, and we have to allocate 1 for defense and 1 for kickers. So that's where we're at right now, and we're 20 seconds away from our next pick here. Trying to manifest it into the world that I'm able to take this guy as an auto pick if they pick literally anybody else. That's what we're hoping for here. So other than that, I think our squad looks pretty good. Here, the Football Guys Players Championship.
You are on the clock.
Dallas defense. I think Deante Johnson is the smash here. Got our 6th running back here. that's just in the 16th round. I think that's an awesome pick here. I think we might be done with running back as well. So I think the next two picks, we can take a wide receiver and then take a tight end. And then I think we're good until we get our defense and our kicker. There's only 3 defenses off the board. So it looks like a lot of people are going to be waiting for those last 2 rounds for their kicker and defense here. So Evan McPherson goes off the board. Yeah, that my wide receiver that I like is still out there. After that, it's kind of dead. There are some options. Like I'm looking just through what is left. You're looking at the Kendrick Bournes, you're looking at the David Bells, you're looking at Sammy Watkins, Terrace Marshall, Curtis Samuel. It is not great, Bob, as far as the wide receivers out there. But there are options out there certainly that are not too bad. I would be completely happy with. Marlon Mack was out there seemingly forever. So one of the guys I did mention just now, as far as the wide receivers that are still out there, I think I am going to be drafting there. The first name, I don't want to give it away, but I don't want to also draft 2 Cleveland Browns in this economy. So there is that. But Jameis Winston goes with Justin Herbert. I don't like taking that second quarterback there for, we talked about that with Gary, where if you're taking an elite quarterback, it's kind of the same thing when you're talking about the elite, tight ends. If you're taking a guy elite tight end, taking an elite quarterback, I don't think you have to
Now you are on the clock.
take the elite option or the secondary option like Herbert with Fields. And like, again, Mahomes with Fields, like you don't need the 2 quarterbacks here. I'm going to be taking Kendrick Bourne here. He's still going to have a role in that Patriots offense. With Devontae Parker, you still got, Jacoby Myers there, but Kendrick Bourne was very, very fantasy relevant last year. If you're banking on a Mac Jones taking a step up in that offense, then Kendrick Bourne becomes pretty viable. So I do like that. I think we're close to done at wide receiver. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We took a lot of young stabs at wide receiver, which I really do like. Hoping Sky Moore in that Chiefs offense is going to be, there is ambiguity there because you're looking at Juju, you're looking at MVS as guys there, and you're hoping Sky Moore can work in the slot, and obviously Kelsey is there too, but that's the profile you're looking for. And they took him in the second round. Treylon Burks, it's very wide open in Tennessee too. Why can't Treylon Burks get 130 targets in that Titans offense? So really like those 2 upside swings, and then we're going to be starting 3 wide receivers plus 3 flex, or 2 flex. I'm sorry. So T. Higgins, Deante Johnson, Jalen Watt, Elijah Moore, like those guys are going to be in our lineups every week. Obviously minus the buys, but definitely like the upside profiles of all those guys. Deante Johnson is steady as they comes. Really hoping Pittsburgh takes a step up in the quarterback department. But now we're getting to the point in these drafts where it's going to be a free-for-all, and a guy just took 3 defenses. I don't know how that slipped, my mind, but let's all point and laugh at Team 4. Buffalo, Dallas, New England. There's 4 defenses off the board, and that guy has 75% of them. So do with that information what you may. So yeah, we're looking at, kicker, we're going to get a fine kicker. We're going to get a defense, not super worried. This is the point where I want to take those measured stabs. We have one more pick, and then we have to take the kicker. We have to take the defense. So I'm really looking at tight end here. And there's one guy that if he gets picked, I will probably cry on stream. I won't cry. I want to. And that's not because he would get taken. It's because I have to wake up in 7 hours to go to the expo. But yeah, if you know me, you know who I want. You know who I like is my upside swing at tight end. even amongst the Taysom Hill, Mo Alley Cox, Kyle Rudolph. It's not any of those guys, but he's being drafted around those guys. But there's also other upside stabs too. It's not just that guy. I mean, there are other younger tight ends. I mean, I'll just come out, Daniel Bellinger for the Giants. Like in a Brian Dable offense, if Daniel Jones can figure it out, like we talked about Kenny Galladay being an awesome pick at the ADP in the 9th round, like as the top target in that offense. Evan Ingram is obviously gone. He's in Jacksonville now. Right now it's like Ricky Seals-Jones, who's been a journeyman around the league and, pretty much been on half a dozen teams and isn't really going to stick anywhere. Like, why can't Daniel Bellinger be, a guy? There's going to be a top option that's going to be coming from this point of the draft. And this is another guy. Tim says it here, Trey McBride. Like, that's another guy that if the play is Zach Ertz is dust, there's a little bit of ambiguity in the beginning of the season with DeAndre Hopkins being out for 6 games. So right now you're staring down the barrel of Marquise Brown, Rondale Moore, AJ Green, Antoine Wesley. Why can't Trey McBride? They spent enough draft capital on him to where if they're going to be running like, Zach Ertz in the slot and like Trey McBride, why can't he get out there? And if he shows a lot more than like Zach Ertz, that's probably what you're hoping for. You're hoping for him to put up a Zach Ertz type, but at this point in the draft, like these are the upside swings you should be taking versus taking like a Jonnu Smith or a Kyle Rudolph. Like, I want no part of that. It's just he provides a limited floor for you, a very dependent floor. Like, I'm looking at other wide receivers here, like Curtis Samuel. Like, we've seen him 2 years ago in Carolina, carve out a fantasy relevant role. Now he goes to Washington. He was hurt last year. Now back this year, they drafted Jahan Dotson. So they paid Terry McLaurin. Logan Thomas might be coming back a little bit earlier. And now your quarterback is Carson Wentz. Like, that's a very tough proposition to try to get the 4th pass catcher on a Washington offense that doesn't project to be that great outside of the top. You're hoping for a Jahan Dotson, a kind of a breakout to be finally that second option. Well, not finally, because Logan Thomas was really that. But if Logan Thomas is still Logan Thomas, after he got hurt, then that's a lot of the pie that's cut up for those 3 guys. And where does Curtis Samuel fit in? Like, I want the upside swings. I would rather take the young guy, have him, if he doesn't have a role, churn that roster spot. Like David Bell is a perfect example of that, where he had a really bad combine. He started to plummet down draft boards, but his comp, he's always been a physical guy. His comp is pretty much Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen had a terrible combine. That was pretty much due to injury, but Keenan Allen's been as steady as they come. Everybody wanted to say he was injury prone until he wasn't. So, yeah, we can talk about upside pretty much all day here. It looks like everybody else is waiting on defense too. There's a couple kickers that are still out there. 5 defenses are on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the 5th kicker has gone off the board. So we're looking pretty good here. Guy has 4 tight ends. Guy has 2 tight ends after our pick. So I think I'm just going to solidify that tight end now. And hopefully my guy is still there. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks ahead of ours. So yeah, it looks like Travis Kelce, that manager, took Cameron Brate, which I think, you're hoping for the Tampa Bay offense to be just passing the ball 700 times again this year. Like, that's what you're hoping for. But I'm looking at some of these other teams, like the Team 9 that we were talking, Team 9, they had a great start. Took Saquon Barkley as the kind of anchor guy, and then reeled off 4 wide receivers, Josh Allen to stack with Diggs, took some running backs, took some stabs. Yeah, he took a lot of stabs on like younger players like Chris Olave, the rookie running backs, Isaiah Spiller, Tyrion Davis-Price, and then paired Noah Fant with Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan's tough because he might start the season on the PUP list. Just based on his ACL, I believe he tore that. I want to say it was a little bit early on, but why can't Robert Tonyan, catch 7-8 touchdowns? He's already going to like crush his ADP there. I mean, I think there's more room, at least for him, to earn targets now that Davante Adams isn't there. So I don't hate Robert Tonyan. The only thing that I hate about it is the fact that you're probably not going to have him the first few weeks of the season. But as a staunch guy who is completely against Robert Tonyan, I've matured in my now 38 years on this earth. I don't mind him there. It's just, like I said, it's the injury that worries me. But ahead of like guys like Mercedes Lewis, Josiah DeGuara that haven't done it, Tyler Davis, Dominic Daphne, like those guys aren't going to be encroaching on anything Tonyan has if he's healthy. So not super worried about that. A couple defenses go off the board here. I'm trying to see if there's any other teams I like here. Team 10 with the classic anchor start with Dalvin Cook, 4 wide receivers, Darren Waller, Jalen Hurts, and then paired him with Devontae Smith. I like that a lot. Chase Claypool. So he's got 6 wide receivers, and then he just hammered running back. A lot of running backs in that group that I usually do, like Kenneth Gainwell, Carter, Herbert, Jamal Williams, Zamir White. I like that running back group a lot. I think he's going to be able to find RB2 production somewhere in there. So we had a run here of defenses. A kicker goes. Another kicker goes. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that tight end here. I'm going to take Greg Dulcich to pair with Henry and Hooper as a if he can find a slot role, if he can cut into Albert O, something happens. He's more of a contingent play. And like I said, if he doesn't pan out, then we churn him. But this is going to be a tight end 3. This is going to be a 3 tight end bill no matter what, because we took Hunter Henry so late. But I really enjoy at least getting safe options in Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper in their offenses. I think they're very safe. And then Greg Dulcich is like the wild card play. So definitely like that there. We have to get a kicker and a defense now. So I will probably just kind of see what's out there. Like I said, we're going to be at the expo. We'll post some stuff up on the Lightning Round Fantasy channel at LR Fantasy. Next week is kind of TBD right now. We were going to have Liz Loza join us. She just got hired by ESPN, and she will be doing some stuff for them. So we're going to figure out what we're going to do next week. Potentially another draft. It is draft season, so we'll have a lot to talk about, I should say. I will take the kicker here and then go from there. Wish I had Linda here to tell me what kicker to pick, but you know what? I do like Brandon McManus a lot. I do like Greg Joseph a lot. I've always been the type of guy to take the kicker on not the best offenses, but like the next tier of offense, just because I don't want extra points. Like I don't want like a Butker that's going to get 6 extra points and not get a field goal attempt. Like I want guys that their offenses may stall and they'll have to kick field goals. Like Minnesota is like a perfect example of that. So Rodrigo Blankenship might get blanked out of his own offense. Like Matt Prater is great for like longer distance. Brandon McManus is really good in that thin air though. And they get to play they get to play in SoFi against the Chargers. They get to play, the thin air, obviously in Denver. I'm going to take Brandon McManus here. Little Denver stack with Dulcich and McManus. I mean, that's what you're looking for, right? Anytime you can get a Denver stack. I wish I had. I need the video of Nathaniel Hackett and Dulcich meeting, where all he is doing is talking about his hair. Like, that is my favorite video in the world. I need to put that on here. But yeah, since we're getting into like the kicker defense part, I think we're going to wrap her up here. We're almost at 2 hours. If you're still here, thank you so much for checking us out. Leave a like on our video too on YouTube. It's going to help us out a great deal. If you're not subscribed, do that as well. It helps us out. This account is growing fast, as they say on Twitter. So make sure you do that. We certainly thank you for spending your time with us here. We will be at the Lightning House tomorrow. Myself, Coop, Britt, we'll all be staying together. We'll be at the expo having some drinkies, having some laughs, having some fun. Thank you so much again for Fantasy Alarm, for powering Lightning Round. Axel, thank you, my friend, for being here through the kicker and defense part of this draft. To summarize the team before we sign off: Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, T. Higgins, Deante Johnson, Jalen Waddle, Elijah Moore, Joe Burrow, Traylon Burks, Sky Moore, Darrell Henderson, Hunter Henry, Ronald Jones, Austin Hooper, Alec Pierce, Raheem Mostert, Dearness Johnson, Kendrick Bourne, Greg Dulcich, more hair than I could ever dream of, and Brandon McManus. So yeah, the last pick is going to be our defense. We'll see how that goes. I really have no defense takes. I'm not going to say I'm a defense tout. I don't play one on TV either. So, or on Twitter. Don't do that. So yeah, we are going to sign off here at the 2 hour and 1 minute mark. Like I said, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/lightning round. That will be where you can find everything that is Lightning Round, of course, at LR Fantasy, at K Tompkins II, at Coop A Fiasco, at Brit_Flynn, at Hadow27. Find us on Twitter. Everything will be in the description. Everything will be on the description for you podcast listeners as well. I am Kevin Tompkins. We are going to be winning this league. We will have lots of updates throughout the season on this team. Good evening. Good night. See you at the expo if you were headed there, and toodles.